Hello Year 6 and happy Friday. So today in maths we're going to carry on with some fractions. We're going to be converting improper fractions into mixed number. Before we get started, as always, we've got our fluency targets on the screen. So today for questions 1 to 4 you are going to be timesing by 1,000, 110. So when you're multiplying by 10, 100 or 1,000, remember you're using your place value chart, your place value knowledge to move the digits. You're multiplying, which means you know that the number is getting larger, so you're moving your digits to the left. And remember the number of zeros or placeholders that are on the 100 or the 10 or the 1,000, that tells you how many places you're going to move the digits. I have put you a decimal place value chart there, so just so if you need that for the decimal questions. Question 5 is then I'm thinking of a whole number, so it's a bit of problem solving, so just have a little go at that. So when you're ready, when you've got paper in front of you, you've got pencil in front of you, please pause this video and have a little go at your fluency targets. Off you go. Okay then. Let's have a look at the answers for these questions. So the first one was 32 multiplied by 1,000. 1,000's got 3 zeros, 3 placeholders on it. So when we're moving it, we're going to move it 3 places. So if, for example, if you're going to do it onto the place value chart, if you wrote your 32 in the correct places, 3, and then we're writing our 2. Okay, so we've got our 32 there. Multiply by 1,000, which is 1, 2, 3 zeros. So we're going to make sure we move these 3 places. So we move the 3, move it 1 place into the hundreds column, 2 places into the thousands, and into the 10,000s. The 2 follows. It goes 1, 2, 3. And then in these spaces here, we put something called placeholders. Placeholders are zeros, aren't they? So we need to make sure we put in our zeros in. 0, 0. Okay. Right. So we should have got 32,000. Let's see whether or not I got the same or whether or not you got the same. There we go. So we've got 32,000. Okay. Let's look at the next one. So we've got 456 times by 100. It's got 2 zeros, 2 placeholders. So it's moving 2 places. So you should have got 45,600. This one here has got a decimal. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so we're multiplying this one by 10, so we're moving it 1 place because there's 1 0 on 10. So we move all the digits 1 place. So the 3 moves into the thousands, the 4 moves into the hundreds, the 5 into the tens, and then the 6 moves out of the tens and into the ones, which gives us 3,456. The next one is multiplying by 1,000. You've got 2 decimal places there, but your answer should be 3,890. Now, if you look at this question here, I'm thinking of a whole number. So this is something that they're thinking. They've got multiplied it by 10, they've subtracted 15, they added 2, the answer was 37. So when you're doing this sort of thing, you work backwards. So we start with the answer being 37. And so when we do this, sometimes when we do it on our whiteboards, we do it like this. We go, I'm thinking of a number, we don't know it, so it's a little bit of an empty square. We're multiplying it by 10, times it by 10. We've taken away 15. Take away 15, and then we've added 2. And the answer was 37. So when we're doing this, we're going to work backwards. So first, we're going to do the inverse. So we added 2 last, so it means we need to take away the 2. So that gives us 35 if we take away 2. We took away 15, so we need to add the 15. So if we do 35, add 15, we get 45, 50. And if we know that it was multiplied by 10, then we need to divide it by 10. And if we do 50 divided by 10, we of course get 5. So our answer should be 5. Let's double check. And yes, it is 5. So well done on those. Can you please make sure you've marked them so we can see how you've done on your fluency target for today? Okay. Right, let's move on to the lesson itself. So today we're converting improper fractions to mixed number. So we're going to convert from improper fractions to mixed number fractions. An improper fraction is where the numerator is larger than the denominator. So an improper fraction is when the numerator is larger than its denominator. Sometimes Mr. O'Brien used to like to call them top-heavy top-heavy fractions, or where it's got a big head is what we used to say last year, because the top number was bigger than the bottom number. Mixed number includes an integer and a proper fraction. So a mixed number has both a number of how many whole ones you've got, and then you've also got a fraction that is a proper fraction, which means that the numerator is not larger than the denominator. You need to be able to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers using visual representatives, and then convert improper fractions to mixed numbers using knowledge of multiples. So we're going to start with visual representations of these fractions, and then we're going to move on to using knowledge of multiples to be able to convert them. Okay, let's have a look at the first bit. So the first activity here, I don't know if my head's in your way, is improper fractions or mixed numbers. So at the bottom, you'll see there are some fractions. Some of them are mixed numbers, some of them are improper. Remembering that improper means the numerator is larger than the denominator. So you've got 5 there. I want you to have a go now at sorting them. So if you can put the improper fractions onto the left-hand side and the mixed numbers onto the right-hand side. Could you please do that now on your pieces of paper? Off you go, and pause this video. Okay, then I'm going to assume that you've done it, and let's have a look together. So, apologies if you just heard Daisy there. She's not particularly fond of the postman. Right, so let's sort these out then. We've got improper fractions and mixed numbers. So let's have a look. This first one here is 2 and 6 eighths. 2 and 6 eighths is a mixed number because we've got a whole number here, okay, which is how many whole ones we've got, and then we've got the fraction next to it. This one again is also a mixed number fraction. This one here is improper because it is top heavy. The numerator is larger than the denominator. This one is a mixed number, and then this one here is an improper fraction because, again, the numerator is larger than the denominator. So let's move on to the next activity. So it says Whitney converts the improper fraction 14/5 into a mixed number using cubes. She groups the cubes into 5s and then has 4 left over. So you can see here, she's grouped them into 5. She's got 1 set of 5 here, 2 sets of 5, and then she's got the 4 there. So 5/5 is the same as what? What is 5/5 the same as? So 5/5 is the same as 1, isn't it? Because one lot of 5 are in 5. So that means it's a full fraction. It is a whole one. 10/5, if you look, 10 is a multiple of 5, and 2 lots of 5 are 10. So therefore, 10/5 is the same as 2. Okay, so we've got 2 groups. Can you see how we've got one group here? 5 lots is one group. And then we've got 10, which is both of these together. That's 2 lots of 5, yeah? So that's 2 groups. So 14/5 is a mixed number. How would we write it? Well, we would write it as 2 whole ones. And then what's left over? Well, she told us what was left over. It was 4. And that 4 is still out of our 5, isn't it? So it's 2 and 4/5. Oh, it's not liking me today. Right, perfect. So we're going to now use Whitney's method to convert 11/3. Okay, so we're going to put them like Whitney did. We're going to put them into groups of 3 because that's how many it's out of. So let's move these now. So they're in groups of 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3 together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we've currently got 3 groups, and then we've got 1, 2. So let's think, how are we going to write this now? Well, how many full groups of 3 have we got? So how many full groups of 3 have we got in 11? Well, we can see in front of us, we can see we've got, if I circle them, we've got 1 group, a 2 group, 3 groups. So we've got 3 groups there. Okay, and then 2 left over. So if we're writing that as a fraction, it is 3 and 2/3. I don't know why I decided I was going to write this one. Much easier to type. Right then, let's move on to the next question. So here we've got 14/6. So we've got the cubes here. don't think Poppy likes fractions. So we're going to sort these out now into groups. If we do the one on the left first, so we're putting them into groups of 6. We're seeing how many, basically we're looking at how many groups of 6 are there in 14. Which some of you will know straight away, but it is nice to have the sort of representation in front of us. So we put them into groups of 6. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we've got these extra 2. Okay, so here we can see we've got 2 full groups of 6. We've got 1 group here, 2 groups here. We've got 2 full groups of 6, and then we've got 2 out of 6 left. So we've got 2 and 2, 6. Is that okay, Poppy, or is that a bit too tricky for you? Okay, 2 and 2, 6. I want you to have a go at the one on the right. Okay, so you have a go at the one on the right now in front of you. You can draw little circles if that helps you to sort them out and see how many, what is your mixed number fraction for the improper fraction. So you can convert it from that improper fraction now to a mixed number. Off you go. Okay, then, so I've grouped them up on my board now for you. So look, if we look at how many groups we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full groups. We've got 7, and then what have we got left over? We've got 1 out of 3, so 7 and a third. Okay, see if we put my line in. 7 and a third. Okay, I hope you got the same on your boards. Right, let's look at the next question. So this is similar again. We've got Tommy here, and Tommy is converting the improper fractions 27 over 8 into a mixed number using bar model. So he's using a bar model to do that. So first of all, he's got his 27 over 8. He does it into bar models, and he puts them into his groups. He finds that he's got 3 full bars, and then he's got 3/8 of a bar. Okay, so let's have a look at doing that one together. So here we've got 1 bar. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have sorted it out for you. So we've got, if you can see here, we've got 2 full bars of 8, and then we've got part of a bar. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. So we've actually got 2 whole ones. So we've got 2 whole bars, and then we've got 5/8 of a bar. Okay, because it's not quite full. There's 3 pieces left. So 2 and 5/8 would be the answer for that one. Okay. Right. So now we're going to change it slightly. So we're going to use our knowledge of multiples and our knowledge of times table facts to be able to convert improper fractions. So this one here is 15 over 6. So first of all, we need to think, how many times does 6 go into 15? So if you were doing a division, how many times does 6 fit inside 15? So how many groups of 6 are there in 15? So how many groups are there? Well, there's 6, 12. So that is how many groups? 2 groups. So there are 2 full groups of 6 in 15. So we've got 2 full groups. So now let's think what's left over. So we said it was 6, 12, and the numerator was 15. So what's the difference between 12 and 15? 12, 13, 14, 15. The difference is 3. So we have got 3 left over. And remember, it's 3 over 6. Okay, so we've got 2 and 3, 6. Now, if you remember a little bit from yesterday, you might then be able to simplify that fraction. And if you simplify that fraction, it'll become 2 and a half. Okay, so we've got 2 and 3, 6. So how many left over? We've got 3, 6 left over. We've got 2 full ones. Okay, let's have a go at this then. So I want you to add the fractions together. So you can all have a go at that. In a second, you can pause this video and have a go. I'd like you to add the fractions together and then try and convert them into a mixed number using your knowledge of multiples. So off you go, pause this video and have a go at that. Right, so we've got 16 over 6. If we add that first one together, 5, 6 over 11, 6, it gives me 16 over 6. So we see how many groups of 6 are in 16. So we've got 6, 12. That gives me 2. There's 2 groups of 6 in 16. And then what's left over, the difference between 12 and 16 is 4. So 2 and 4, 6. Okay, let's have a look at the second one now. So the second one, we had 14 over 3. So how many groups of 3 are in 14? Well, how many groups of 3 are in 14? So we've got 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 4 full groups. We've got 4 groups of 3. And then the difference was it's 14. And we said it was 12 was the closest one. So there's 2 thirds left over. So it's 4 and 2 thirds. Okay. Right, let's move on. Okay, so your work for today. So on the school website, you will find your work for today. There is a circle to square sheet, and then there is the extension sheet if you finish that and you're confident. So then you can go on to do the pentagon and the hexagon sheet. The questions are very much what we've just done on the board. So there's nothing that's any different. And the circle ones has got visual representations, okay? The semicircle ones is using your knowledge of multiples, so without the representations. Although if you want to draw the representations, you still could do that. And then it's just moving on, okay? So for the semicircle as well, you do need to work it out with a bar model, okay? So try and draw yourself a little bar model to work that one out. Okay, and that is your work for today. So after you finish your work for the day and you want to come back to this video, you can then come back and do the skill shop. So I'm going to put the skill shop on the board for you. It's multiplication. And then I'll put the answers for you in a minute as well. Okay, but that's all your work for today. So your work for today is this sheet here. Once you've completed it, you can come back to this video and then do the skill shop. Okay, right. I'll put the answers on in a second. So pause this video and then I will put the answers on for skill shop. Okay, the answers are coming on now. So those are the answers for Skill Shop. So once you've finished all your work for today, could you please email it across to your class teacher, to me, so I can check it and email you back. That's it. Enjoy your weekend if hopefully you're getting up to something nice, and I will see you later. Bye.